This is Tim Bryce with my column titled 2021 Year-End Wrap-Up. This is my last column for the year as I prepare to enjoy the holidays and rest up for 2022. As has become customary, I'm using this opportunity to review my top essays from the past year. As you know, I write on a variety of subjects such as management, systems, technology, social issues, politics, and observations of our changing world. Sometimes my work is instructional and informative, other times it is controversial or humorous. I certainly hope it isn't boring. By the number of subscribers I have, their comments, and the hits I've had on my websites, I do not believe this is the case. This has been another fiery political year, and as such, my political columns did very well. Nonetheless, what follows is based on my hits on my web pages. Interestingly, my readership has expanded beyond Florida. Currently, the following countries follow my work: the United States, Ireland, Ecuador, Germany, France, Italy, Nigeria, Philippines, Thailand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. This is based on circulation. This was a difficult year for me personally. I lost my mother in the spring, and I discovered I had liver cancer in autumn, something which I have written about recently. On the plus side, I am now the proud papa of my first grandchild, who has become the apple of my eye. I have also met a wonderful woman who has been very supportive during these troubling times. As such, I count my blessings as opposed to problems. I must remember to write about romance in our senior years. It's rather enchanting. Writing has always been an important outlet for me. It helps me maintain my sanity. As my illustrator buddy said, "Tim, if they were to make you stop writing and have me stop drawing, they might as well give us a Viking funeral here and now and put us out of our misery. It's what we do and who we are." Anyway, my top columns for the year include number 1, The Catch-22 in Nonprofits. This came out on January 5th, 2021. This really didn't surprise me as it was published at the beginning of the new year, as nonprofit organizations are just beginning a new fiscal year. It questions the competency of the leaders of such groups. This is why I wrote the book, How to Run a Nonprofit. It doesn't require rocket science. Number 2 is trying to kick Trump under the bus. Number 2 and number 3 discuss the Stop the Steal protests in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. So their rankings didn't surprise me. People want to know the truth about what happened that day, and so far they haven't received it. It disturbs me greatly that protesters are still locked up without a speedy trial 12 months later. This is simply outrageous. And number 3, what really happened at the Stop the Steal protest. Number 4 was Tim's Fight with Cancer, Part 1. Number 4 and 5 are also closely related as I describe my approach to conquering my liver cancer problems. It is my hope these writings can start a dialogue among cancer patients and give the general public a glimpse into our thinking process. And number 5 is Tim's Fight with Cancer, Part 2. Number 6 is Republican Clubs Falter. This grabbed the attention of Republicans where I essentially made the observation the emperor has no clothes. Something that didn't sit well with the GOP hierarchy. However, the grassroots people loved it as I spoke on their behalf. Number 7, Florida Parents' Bill of Rights. This was a new bill within the state of Florida. Other states have tried this. It ultimately is a reminder that parents should have more control over their children's educational rights as opposed to local government. This has spurred attendance at local school board meetings. Number 8 was Inheritance Aftermath. Following the loss of my mother, I prepared a punch list of items to consider when shutting down an estate. I hope a lot of people will heed my advice. Number 9 was Republican Values. I discussed the core values of Republicans, something the general public simply doesn't understand. And finally, number 10, For the Love of White Castles. In early May, White Castle Restaurants finally opened a store in the Orlando area. This was enthusiastically greeted by displaced Yankees now living in Florida. Here I discuss what it means to them. I also provided an audio version of most of my columns for those people on the go, courtesy of YouTube. I would like to believe people listen to me at the gym or beach, but more realistically, people tend to tune in while they are traveling or at work. Interestingly, the popularity of my audio segments is not the same as my written columns. Number 1 was removing palmetto palms. This was far and away my most popular audio segment, which surprised me as I was describing only the removal of palmetto palms on my property. I guess a lot of people hate them as much as I do. Number 2, why is everyone hiring? During the summer, I spotted several hiring signs. People would rather take government stimulus money as opposed to working. How can they look at themselves in the mirror? Number 3, how to become a tyrant. Must-see TV. This was based on a mini-series on Netflix which described the characteristics of dictators over the years. A lot of what was described can be seen today in the political world. Number 4, Biden's first 100 days. This represented my predictions of what Joe Biden would implement in the first 100 days of his administration. I had it pretty spot on. Number 5, who are the domestic terrorists? Well, according to Congress, it's not Antifa or Black Lives Matter, but parents voicing their displeasure at school board meetings. Number 6, face masks are here to stay. Regretfully so. Number 7, the Jim Crow shtick. I produced this as a means to educate people about Jim Crow laws. I'm amazed how many people do not understand their origin. Number 8, why Trump is still a force to be reckoned with. It is now rather obvious that our 45th president is still the figurehead of the Republican Party. Number 9, they are killing the game. This was an unusual piece where I discuss how Major League Baseball is changing the game through rule changes. And number 10, is Joe going to make it? I discussed the president's mental acuity, something people are finally questioning. I will be on sabbatical for a while until I am ready to get back in the saddle for the new year. Until then, Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good night. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.